This week, we're moving from poetry to drama. Like poetry, reading drama requires a bit more work than reading prose fiction. Dramas, for the most part, are written to be seen and not studied in a classroom, so when we read them, we have to fill in a lot of blanks. There often won't be much setting or exposition. The story relies on dialogue to further the plot and present the characters. As readers, we essentially have to be the director, the actor, the costumers, and the set designer all in one. That means that to find the meaning, there are a lot of decisions that we have to make. For our first play, we're going back to ancient Greece for Sophocles' Antigone. I've posted several short videos from the National Theatre in London that discuss the background of Greek theatre. Because of that, I'm not going to go into the history here. But you do need to understand some of the context for the story. Antigone is a play based on a Greek myth about a royal family of Thebes. Well before the start of our play, the story starts with King Laos and Queen Jocasta, who are expecting their first child. They went to find an oracle, a kind of sort of prophet, who told them that the child would kill his father and marry his mother. Horrified, the couple decided that they needed to get rid of the child once it was born, but they couldn't bring themselves to kill him. So they abandoned him in the wilderness to starve. Luckily for the child, he was found by a shepherd who named him Oedipus and raised him as his own. When Oedipus reached adulthood, he decided he wanted to go on an adventure. He headed for Thebes, which was beset by a monster called the Sphinx. On the way there, he met a group of men and they got in an argument. A fight resulted, and Oedipus killed the group's leader. And if you guessed that the murdered man was King Laos, you would be correct. Oedipus, unaware that he had killed his birth father, continued to Thebes and defeated the Sphinx. He was welcomed as a hero, and the recently widowed queen married him so that he would become their leader. The prophecy was fulfilled. Oedipus and Jocasta lived in happy ignorance for years, until the kingdom's crops started to suffer. Oedipus decided that the downturn was due to the fact that the previous king's death had gone unavenged, and set about to find the killer. Despite the fact that the blind seer Tiresias warned him to leave well enough alone, Oedipus was determined that he was right. When he discovered that not only had he been the one to kill the king, but that the king was his father and the queen, his wife and the mother of his 4 children, was his mother, he gouged his own eyes out. Jocasta killed herself, and the couple's 2 sons inherited the throne. The sons, however, couldn't agree on the direction in which they should lead Thebes, and Autolycles took control and expelled his brother Polynices. Polynices gathered an army and attacked Thebes. Both brothers were killed in the ensuing battle. With both brothers dead, Jocasta's brother Creon took the throne. Creon, trying to bring his country back in order, sided with Autolycles and declared Polynices a traitor. He forbade anyone from giving Polynices a funeral, leaving his 2 sisters, Antigone and Ismene, torn between their love for their brother and their duty to the king. This is where the play picks up. As you read this week, I want you to think about the ways that the characters must decide between divergent values. Love of family versus loyalty to your country. Devotion to your religion versus obedience to your leader. Self-preservation versus doing what you think is right. Sophocles is asking a lot of questions that are pertinent not just to ancient Greece, but to our society today. To where do we owe our loyalty? How do we decide what's the right thing to do? Should I do the safe thing or the bold thing? The answers aren't any easier today than they were for Antigone, but the questions are worth asking. You'll have a chance to discuss the characters in your discussion board and, of course, in your weekly journal. Keep working on your second writing project. It's due at the end of the month. Then we'll be starting your final project on drama. But you need to have a draft sent to the tutoring center this week. And remember, whatever option you picked for the first project, you cannot pick again. There are 2 options left. You will complete one for poetry and the other for drama. Choose wisely. As I've said, I posted a series of short videos from the National Theatre in London's production. If any of you are Doctor Who fans, there are 2 doctors featured in this production. The 2 on the Introduction to Greek Theatre and the Introduction to Tragedy are required viewing. The others are optional, but highly recommended. Since theatre was designed as a visual experience, seeing clips of the performance will be really helpful to understanding it. You'll also get some insight from the actors as to their interpretation and process. Let me know if you have any questions, and as always, happy reading.